All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the Hot Seat with your hostess, myself, P. Coffee Brown, and we have an amazing guest in the building tonight. Newly published author Crystal Sauls is with her, and our special guest has tapped in tonight, Pastor Jason Hendrickson, several-time international best-selling author here with DFG Publishing House. And now Crystal has come on board with us. She is a brand new author that has just been released with the publishing house today. So definitely excited to have her in the building and also with Pastor Jay. So as Pastor Jay and Crystal share on their platforms, we're going to be getting started in just a few moments. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to this week's edition of the Hot Seat. So excited for Crystal. She has just released her first publication. So congratulations, huge ups to you, Crystal, on the release of your first project. So definitely excited for her and getting that project out and in the atmosphere, out in the universe. So it's a super exciting time here with Crystal. All right, y'all. So we're getting the party started in just a couple of seconds. I'm muting out Pastor Jay because he over here cutting up in the ministries over here. So welcome in, everybody. I am spreading this wealth on various platforms. So guys, I ask that you do the same exact thing. Go ahead and spread that wealth. Let others know that we are actually live here in the hot seat with brand new author Crystal Sauls, and so excited to be in the building with her. So truly grateful to have her on with us on tonight. And so, Crystal, welcome to the hot seat. So definitely go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know a little bit about who you are and what's going on with you and your brand new publication. So welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Coffee. Well, my name is Crystal Sauls. I live in the United States of America in Virginia. And I'm just so excited to have gotten this book done with the help of these two nice young individuals, Jason and Coffee. I don't know what else I can say about the book. I just kind of put my heart in this book. You know, it's a short read, but it's the truth. And I was just happy to get it done.
Awesome.
Just talking about my changes in life and just being awakened during the pandemic.
Awesome. So definitely tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Myself. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Well, what can I say about myself? That's appropriate. I like to eat shrimp, mussels, and what else? I like vegan crab cake. I like to work out. I like to go to New York and go to church sometimes, you know, and run and shout because the preaching and the music is good. I like to exercise and spend time with my family, friends, you know, people that I know. I love dogs. They encourage me, you know, little dogs, good dogs, ones that don't attack you. I like to sing, you know, help out if I can sing alto or tenor sometimes with rehearsal. If we don't have rehearsal, I don't want to really be up. So, you know, I'd rather just run and shout. But that's a little bit about me.
Oh, God. Crystal, you are hilarious.
I'm telling the truth. Anybody that's on here that know me, I'm telling the truth. And I haven't had any of Jason's pudding. I haven't had any pudding, and I've been in New York several times. Had no pudding. It was on the national news, and I came and visited, and I wanted some pudding. But, you know, good things come to those who wait.
Oh, God. Whew, I wasn't ready. I just was not ready at all. Crystal, you are hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So there it is, you guys. Crystal Sauls. So you guys already know when I do interviews, they are unscripted. And this is a result of unscripting. We don't want to have anybody not have an opportunity to come in and basically be exactly who they are. I want you to know exactly who Crystal is as Crystal is. So you'll get an opportunity to really know and get to like her for who she is. And I love that about this platform because it is our intention always with the hot seat, whenever we do interviews, for people to just come in and be their authentic self. So that way, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, people get a real opportunity to connect with you. So I want to introduce my friend as well, Pastor Jason Henderson is in the building. Actually, Crystal came to us by way of Pastor Jason, sending her over to us. He shared with us that she was on fire. She was ready to get published. And so we actually wanted to make certain that she had an opportunity to get her publication out. She was on it. She was ready. And we worked with her, coached her all the way from start to finish. But definitely we wanted Pastor Jay to be on here as well. Pastor Jay is a published author, international bestseller. He's a great, great writer. And so we already knew when Crystal came to us that she was going to be a solid writer. And so we definitely appreciate you sending Crystal our way. But we also appreciate the fact that you know great writers when you come across them. Pastor Jay, what's that all about?
I think, the best thing to the best way to describe it is what's from the heart touches the heart. So, after a couple of conversations with Crystal, I knew that she had something special. She just needed that push and the right connections. And immediately I thought of you and your company. And I was like, man, I got to put these two together. That's one of the joys of my ministry. I'm a connector. I connect greatness with greatness. And I knew it would be phenomenal once it happened. So I'm just super proud of Crystal. She is a very faithful partner of our ministry. And it's crazy that she lives in Virginia. And she is, I would dare to say, a model member of what every pastor would want in great people. And I'm talking about accountability, dependability. She's faithful to all of our services. From Virginia. And it's just remarkable. And I am in the point in my life where I refuse to seed into anybody that doesn't seed into me. And she has sown into me in more ways than one. So for me to make this connection with you guys was a no-brainer.
Have her in the building. I love it. I love it. And you know what? The one thing that I do like about Crystal is her tenacity. She's like one of those people that's like when she's like, yeah, I got to do this. I got to do it. What I got to do? When I got to do it? Why I got to do it? How I got to do it? What I'm going to do? She's one of those people that is easy to coach. Especially being in the coaching space, I've coached about 60 authors so far over the last 18 months, and some have been challenging, some have been very easy, so on and so forth. But I have been really blessed in this experience with Crystal because she actually was ready. She already was ready. She had a solid piece of content. So we were able to go ahead and get that thing into editing immediately, get it cleaned up, get it pristine, and able to get her published. Great publication, by the way. We actually have it right here. So we're going to talk about this publication Crystal has just released. It is brand new, out today in the universe. The website is at the bottom of your screen. You can actually go there to get your autographed copy. Crystal is still doing autographed copies, so you can definitely go there and you'll see her publication available. You just click that link, make your purchase. All the proceeds go right to Crystal's address. Okay.
That's right.
So Crystal's getting that bread, honey. Listen here. She's getting that bread. So y'all help her out as a gift for her actually just getting started and actually just releasing her publication. Crystal is offering the ebook today only for 99 cents. So go ahead and head over to Amazon. Pick up multiple copies, pick up one copy, pick up 25 copies, pick up 65 copies. It doesn't matter. It will support her in her quest to get this book out in the atmosphere. So she's done an outstanding job, and we're super excited for everything she has coming up in the future as well. So definitely go ahead and support her by picking up that publication. Go ahead and head over to Amazon and grab that publication, or you can head over to our website, dfgpublishingtoday.com, and go ahead and grab your autographed copy. You still have time to go ahead and get that copy just in time for New Year's. The publications will be out really at the top of the year, so you'll be able to get those and off to a fresh start. How befitting to talk about transition as we shift into a brand new year. So it's very befitting to be able to have that conversation and to talk about that as we head into a brand new year. Right on time, right? When you talk about the word transition, some people call it shifting, whatever you want to call it, but it is moving from one space to the next. So Crystal, we're not going to give away the content for the publication, but we definitely want to let people know what is going on with this incredible book. So, Crystal, where did the idea to go ahead and get this book out, where did it come from?
Coffee, I had just been thinking about things that I've been through most of my life, and like the different cycles and shifts and things like that over the years. And it was transitions, and there were other books that I started at the same time, but I really wanted to finish this one. And so the motivation or the idea just came from, getting it off of my chest. First of all, I talk to God about it all the time, got prayer for everything, and just was enlightened on the pandemic, my eyes were open. So I was like, let's just write this one and just share it. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Let's just share it and get it out there. And hopefully some of the chapters will bless somebody, since I got it out with a pure heart and I've shifted into a better place. Still evolving, not there yet, but just in a better place. And just wanted to share that, get it off my chest and share the story.
I love that. Absolutely love that. So when you talk about getting it off your chest and sharing your story, tell the viewers what that means to them. What is it about your story that they need to know? Definitely.
So one thing that I can say is that, we as adults still carry stuff from our childhood. It's things that have happened to us when we were kids, teenagers, in our early 20s, 30s, 40s, and up, and whatever age you are. But sometimes you don't have anybody to talk to. Everybody says pray or go get some counseling, or you might be in the prayer line or the prophetic line or whatever you have, or talk to your best buddy. But sometimes you need to just get it off your chest. And I thought the best way to do it was to write it, just to write and talk it out, because I would just talk stuff out all the time, talk to God about it all the time, tell my mama a little bit enough. But I said, there's a whole bunch of words. We can just put it in the book. We just gonna clean it up. We ain't gonna put everything in there, but we just gonna write it in the book. Then I start feeling relief. So it's like self-healing to some degree. At some point you got to stop going up, and getting prayer for all this stuff and crying and being upset about it, and just accept things and move on and be better. So that was my idea of getting it off of my chest, just releasing. And then hopefully it'll be a blessing to other people to do the same, that you don't have to live stuck in whatever you were bothered by, hurt by, whatever happened to you, or something that's in the back of your mind and you just kept it as an adult. You don't have to hold on to those things. You are actually free once you get it off your chest. You should be anyway.
Awesome. So, Pastor Jay, I want to ask you, considering Crystal is a parishioner with the ministry, have you noticed a significance in who she has become as a result of her being partnered with the ministry? Do you think that may have had an impact on even the publication that she's actually written, to be able to say, hey, this is how she was when we first connected. Now, this is where she is. And it's just a beacon of hope based on you being a thought leader and being a pastor. I know you have a lot of times where you see parishioners and you see them either being stagnant or not really growing and evolving. Mm-hmm. But with Crystal, it seems like Crystal has had a pretty much a really solid evolutionary process before she actually released this publication. So tell us a little bit about her and the experience that you and your family and your leadership team has had with her.
I think when me and Crystal first connected, she was always this personality. She's not playing. This is who she is. But she wasn't sure when it came to certain areas. And by me talking with her and us sharing ideas, I've seen her become more confident. And to me, it's like she's fearless now. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, because you'll be surprised as a pastor. I have so many people. One of the things that I do for everybody in my church, doesn't matter how old or young you are, if anyone in my church comes to me and tells me they're an entrepreneur, I automatically sow into their business, whether it be me paying for their logo to get done, connecting them with a publisher, whatever. I have to do something. And so many people have come with ideas but failed to execute. That's what I love about Crystal. She has actually executed the vision. And that's what makes me want to do more, because you know we can't share our platforms with just everybody.
Absolutely.
Because we work hard for whatever influence we have, whatever, content that God has blessed us to create that has blessed other people, I have to be very mindful of who I connect, people with. And I had no reserve connecting her with you at all, because I knew that she was serious, because the scripture talks about iron sharpening iron. She lit a fire under my situation with social media and all that, because she's on a whole nother level with the things that she knows and the insight she knows about the algorithm and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, this is going to be a crazy connection. And this is just the beginning. There's going to be some more great things, because what Crystal didn't tell y'all is that she sings and she plays keyboard and she's a songwriter.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know why I don't know why she's trying to hide all that stuff.
Yeah, because she ain't saying none of that in her introduction. All she said is she likes to eat and she like dogs and all that. I'm like, what they got to do, girl? What, girl, you been interviewed on international TV and she's talking about eating dogs. I'm like, huh? I said, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, she's a serious creative. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm expecting nothing but great things from her.
That is awesome. Crystal, that is incredible. I love that. Congratulations on all the other things that you did not mention to our international community about yourself.
See, I don't mention that I play the keyboard because I'm rusty. I don't play in all the keys that I want to play in. And then I don't want everybody asking me to play on their Sunday morning service because I'm in transition. Amen.
I'm done. I can't do no more with her today. I'm done.
I gotta tighten up. See, I have this professional publication. See, I've got something professional here. This is done by a professional, DFG Publishing, right? So you don't want to hear any of my music yet, unless it's a little worship, something easy with a few chords and a couple of background singers.
Hey, just sent me a beautiful song.
But see, that was easy. That was worship. That was easy. 5 chords, JD, was 5.
Okay. It was very nice.
Chords, right?
Nice. She is hilarious.
I'm serious.
Like, super funny. Like, I didn't
Everybody know
let me tell y'all something. I work with Crystal from a professional space. So we don't have a lot of times where we're communicating, like kind of chilling out. We're actually strategically working on a goal. And the way that I do my coaching, there's not a lot of room for playing. Pastor Jay will tell you, and now of course Crystal can tell you, there's not a lot of play with me when it comes to making sure that we get these publications out and get them stellar to be able to compete in the marketplace, and to also make sure that our authors are making a statement through their publication that the world can truly benefit from. So I honestly never knew that Crystal's personality was this colorful. I had no clue. I had no clue.
This is the real deal.
I had no clue. I don't know. Nobody told me. I wasn't ready. I feel like Kevin Hart. I feel like pineapples right now. I wasn't ready. I didn't know. I had no idea. So Crystal, let me ask you, you mentioned that there were quite a few things that you wanted to do as far as writing. Share with the community some things that you have in your heart right now, not necessarily your content, but share with our community some of the things that you are aspiring to write about.
Like other books?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Well, I have a laundry list of books in my phone here in Samsung Notes. And so I've got nearly 100 titles. And like I mentioned earlier, I started 3. I started 3.
God want to free you. God want to free you.
Excuse me. Let me finish. Bishop,
where is the Apple products, ma'am?
Hold on.
You in bondage.
Come
out of the wilderness. Come out of that wilderness.
So I started 3 at the same time. It was transition, rehearsal, and leadership, right? So other things that are on my heart to share is content about teamwork, working together, work, church, whatever, jobs, nonprofit groups, leadership, leaders actually being good leaders, not just to have the title. So I've had a lot of experiences with those, topics over the years. So I've got a ton of content for that. And then rehearsal, because I've always been a part of people's convocations or conferences, seminars, workshops, conferences, whether I was speaking, singing, or playing or doing a play. So, I was always at rehearsal. So I got a lot to say about rehearsal and prep. And so I'm going to be writing about those things in the next 1 or 2 years and try to publish a couple of books a year because it's just so much content. And those are things that are on my heart that were ready and are ready to still come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then difficult people, but I said teamwork. Um, Marketing is just some things I learned about marketing along the way, some small things that a lot of us are not doing. I'm not good at all that, but there's just some small things that a lot of people are not doing for themselves or for their ministries or whatever business. And just want to share some tips because I spent the last 4 years going to different conferences in Vegas, New York, San Diego, different places, just getting mentored and paying for software and paying for coaching. And it's like, it was time to get it done on the pandemic. So I started little by little implementing these things. And I just want to kind of talk about those experiences. And they will all help people because the information's from all good coaches, mentors.
Now, in one of your chapters, you talk about working with young people. Tell us a little bit more about your experience with that. We got some upcoming millennials that are definitely crying for some thought leaders. You know, we do have this amazing generation that's coming up, and we do need some very strong, solid leaders to be able to help to engineer them into what they've been created and designed to do. And so, in one of your chapters, you do talk about your experience with working with young people. So what has that been like for you, and how can that, in that chapter, how can it benefit maybe some parents, or if anybody's watching and they have a mentorship program, how can that chapter be of value to them?
Right. So working with young people has been something that I can say people have, sewed into my life with doing ever since a teenager or when I can remember. Older people in school, churches, whatever, your family, they always worked with young people, which means they gave them an opportunity. Like, so I'll start with the church. My grandfather was a pastor. Everybody in the church played the drums. Everybody sung, whether they were on key or not. And after service, if you wanted to learn how to play the drums, you could run up there and play. And by 6 or 7 months later, you probably sound good enough to play on Tuesday or Thursday night, right? So I would play the drums on Tuesday and Thursday night when Stacy Jordan was not there during the week, because I could beat on books during the week and go and keep up with praise service. But they didn't tell me to sit down, Chrissy. They was like, you can play, baby, go ahead. I know Brenda's on here. She will let me play, so they worked with me in the church. Every church I've been to since I was a teenager, the older people will let me jump on the piano and play my 2 little chords that nobody could hear on the piano because the keyboard was out blasting me. So they gave me a chance. In school, with choir parts, the teachers gave me a chance. Everybody gave me a chance as a young person. And that stuck with me through my life. Even coaches in my adult years, they would give you a discount on a package or something like, you trying, Crystal, you might can't pay for this, but you can pay for that. So anybody that's got young people around them, you got to understand that young people are your future. So if you don't invest in them now, somebody else is going to invest something else in them, and it may not always be good. And that's what that chapter talks about in my book. Working with young people, recognizing that, they're still human, they deserve a chance, and you need to shape, make, and mold them. Don't let them watch you act crazy and act a fool and think they're going to respect you. That's not how you work with young people. Yelling at, your husband or wife or somebody at home or on the job or at church. Don't let them see you out of character, because kids remember all of that. They might not say nothing, but they remember all of that. Absolutely. So any chance you get to groom a young person, mentor them, cook them something good, take them to a park, take them somewhere, do something nice with them, it's valuable and it'll stick with them, and they'll be kind of shaped in a different way. They'll be raised another way, because all those things stuck with me, and I'm sure the kids are smarter today. So a lot of this will stick with them. So they'll be groomed up.
And that's interesting that you say that. I was watching a segment with Dr. Jasmine Sculler the other day, and someone was asking her about her launching pad from when she was young. And she talked about some of the same things that you mentioned about someone giving her a chance. She shared about a teacher that she had, and the teacher actually took her home, and it was her first experience with running water inside of a property, because she's from the islands. And she talked about she didn't have running water. She didn't have a traditional bed. And she talked about how this particular teacher ignited this flame in her simply by, like you said, giving her a chance. and just being there for her. You said something. She was like, this lady cooked for me. She made sure I had a hot meal. She made sure I had a warm bed. And from there, she was like, I just felt compelled to give back to the world. Something about that moment in time with her transformed my entire human existence. And look at where I'm at now as a result of that. She said that was the catalyst of change for her in her life when that teacher actually did that for her. And I said, that's very unique and very significant. And what you said is very significant when it comes to young people, because the greatest thing that we can impart into them is a part of ourselves, a part of who we are, a part of what we've been blessed with, a part of, what we've been given. So that is definitely profound that you said that. Now, you put something in here, and I definitely want you to share with our viewing audience. You talked about prepping for marriage. Have you actually been married?
No.
Okay.
Jason, don't be looking like that. Don't
so
look
I
like
want
that
to
online.
So let me ask you a question. When you talk about prepping for marriage in your chapter, tell the people a little bit about why you actually shared that content and where that information actually came from that you actually shared for the publication.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought it was necessary to put that in the book, even though I've never been married, never close to it, maybe been to the jewelry store. But, I think young people or single people or whoever that desires to be married need to prep, which means that you are, separated from any past relationships. You're not carrying that over into your new relationship that you're trying to turn into a marriage. And that's a part of, the process would be keeping yourself not, messing with this guy, that girl, that animal, whatever it is that you do, so, keep yourself and, you're in a prayerful state, you're prepared, you know how to cook, pay bills, try to get better at something, even though the mate may pick up the other things. And it's like, you consciously got to be thinking about this stuff if this is the way you want to go. Because in your transition, you can carry a lot of baggage. And the person will never get to know the real you if you got all this baggage. God is a deliverer, but I'm not. And I'm sure I say that in there. And it's a mindset.
You definitely said that in there. You definitely said that in there. You said that.
It's a mindset. So, it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, or maybe they don't think about. They just go on to the next, because it's like you're healing this wound. You're trying to heal this wound, but you're going to get somebody in trouble with all your baggage and stuff. And I don't think that's a good way to prep. And then another thing, I don't remember if I said in the book, but, oftentimes pastors or leaders or other married couples will pray for young people to be married and pray for them to have a spouse. I run into a lot of people like that all the time. And so people are praying for you, and these people have power to pray and things, but it's no good for them to pray if you're going to still be your same way and not examine yourself and talk about, I want to be with somebody, and you are a mess or a piece of a mess that you don't, and you don't have to be a mess. You can be better.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Pastor Jay, did you hear Crystal say that? Did you hear her say animal? Did you hear her?
I didn't want to touch it. I did hear it though.
I said, daughter of Zion. Did she say animal?
The woman of God said animals.
I think the daughter of Zion said that. I think she said it when she said that, Pastor Jay, it took me right to the Muppets. That's all I could think about was animal from the Muppet Show. I said, let me just hold on to that. Let me see if she's talking about animal from the Muppet. Maybe she's talking about animal from the Muppet.
Let's say she was.
She's talking about animal from the. She's not talking about
because she's a drummer, so
that's right. So all that ties in. Animal from the Muppet Show. Let's hold on to that.
Yeah.
For the sake of the viewing audience, they probably be like, did she call the sons of God? Did she call the sons of Zion
the theologist?
And some people got all kind of desires, y'all. See, y'all ain't from the country. People do stuff in different counties and cities and states and things. So I have to add that in there because we being real.
We're not from the country. We're from the city. We don't do certain things in the city. Period. Certain things is just not acceptable in the city under any circumstances, as long as the earth remains.
Or the Tri-City.
Earth is the Lord.
The outskirts.
Crystal, you are a mess.
I am a real
She
honest
is
mess.
a whole vibe.
Oh yeah.
Pastor Jay, so let me ask you. I know that you actually knew about Crystal's publication, and I know you knew that she was getting ready to bring this incredible book out in the universe. When she first shared with you about this publication, what was your thoughts? Were there any conversations that you had that kind of gave a little bit of a sounding board about the book, or did you just say go forth and do good?
I think it was a combination of both. She told me about the book, and immediately when she told me the title, I thought that transition is always uncomfortable, but it's always necessary.
Mhm.
Because if you're ever going to shift out of where you are now, you have to be willing to go into the unknown. And this was the unknown for her, being put on this level where she has this level of exposure, and this quality of a team working with her was unknown to her. But again, I love it. I'm all for risk takers. I'm all for people that ain't scared to go there, because that's the only way that you're going to find out. When you're in the gym working out, you only find out how strong you are when you go into resistance training. When you have something pushing up against you and you have to use what's in you to get it up off you, that's how you know that your strength has grown. Because first time there, you probably can only do 15 pounds. But because of muscle memory, your muscle's going to remember that. And then if you ain't scared, next thing you know, you'll be doing 45. Next thing you know, you'll be doing 75. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger. You keep getting stronger and stronger. So that was the thing for me. I just felt it in my spirit that she was somebody that I could push for real. Because I'm a nice guy. I'm just going to encourage everybody. But the truth is, some people never get past the encouragement and get to the execution. But I knew she was like me. She was like fearless. I was like, nah, this is somebody that we could really connect with the right people, and she's going to do what she's going to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, she's it was interesting when Crystal came to us, because Pastor Jay knows how I am. We have this major vetting process that we put authors through.
Mm-hmm.
And when Crystal came, I was like, did you vet her? Did she know what she did get herself into? Does she know me? Does she know what she's gonna get ready to deal with?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, yeah, Coach Coffee. You know how he says it because he's from New York. So, yeah, Coach Coffee, she good. She good. She good. I said, okay, now I'm gonna take your word for it. But the minute she pop off, go back over there to your church.
She ready. She ready.
No, but she Crystal was really, really a joy to work with. And of course, our coaching team. Normally it's a group of us that actually do the coaching, but basically Crystal and I kind of work together throughout the whole course of the project. So Crystal, tell our viewers how your coaching experience was throughout the course of your publication and what your thoughts were about it.
My coaching experience was great and crazy, and I'm going to tell you why. I worked this swing shift. Then Coach Coffee was like, we don't do this. Why you calling us on the weekend? Why you emailing us on the weekend? But I'm like, I don't get off till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And all you got to do is send me the stuff. But she like, the lawyers and the team like, well, we don't do that. You ain't tell her. So that was the crazy part. So I was getting on her nerves, right? For about a month. And then everything shifted. There was a transition. And I no longer got on her nerves. And then everything became better because I could talk during normal business hours and get everything done. So I was getting my coaching material at a decent hour, and I was implementing at a decent hour. And if I didn't, she would send me reminders, nice reminders. Great leadership, great coach, because you don't want to be working with the upline that's just nasty. So Coach Coffee just not nasty. She was just so sweet. Grand rising, Crystal.
Don't tell people I'm sweet. I don't want people to believe that. I don't want people to believe that.
You were sweet. You were sweet through text message. Through text message.
You saw my face, right? I was like,
through text message.
What? You talking about Coach? You calling Coach Coffee sweet? I don't think so.
Listen,
through text message. I like I said, we ain't never meet in person. So through text message, the tone and the spirit of the message was nice. I felt like
that's an accurate statement. Now, what I was thinking on the other end of the text, that's a different subject.
Oh Lord. Well, there goes into my portion about the coach.
Seriously though, what Crystal didn't tell y'all is that first month it was very challenging because of Crystal's schedule. Nonetheless, we did work with her to get her taken care of so that we wouldn't miss the deadline that we had in place for her publication to be released. She had an aggressive deadline that she wanted to meet, and we wanted to make certain that we were able to meet that aggressive deadline, even in the face of the things that she had to actually deal with and address. So it was challenging initially. And ironically, even with the book being called Transition, she ended up going through a new shifting in the process to where she didn't even have to deal with that obstacle any longer, because it was a little bit challenging. I did have to talk with our attorneys and stuff like that, because they were like, what is all this? What's going on? What's this is like out of the norm. And I was like, no, 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 no. But we were willing to work with her because she was willing to work for herself. That was the biggest thing that we recognized initially. Myself, our VP of communications, Gracia, she was like, immediately, she was like, this girl is serious. I was like, yeah, she coming in hot. Mm-hmm. She coming in hot. I was like, yeah, she's very serious about getting this done. And so our VP was like, you know what, let's do whatever we can to support her and making certain that she's able to get this done. So after we passed through that first month and had, times where we had to talk early morning or late in the evening, sometimes we had to get together like super late in the evening. And then, there were times where we had to connect on the weekend and do whatever had to be required to make sure that Crystal, I got her coaching sessions that she was promised as a part of her packaging. And also she was clear on what needed to take place and when it needed to take place and how it needed to take place. And we wanted to make certain that she got everything that she needed, because a lot of times when it comes to not having a fluid time frame to work with like we're normally accustomed to, a lot of times it's hard to adapt. It's hard to adapt to either the author or the actual coach, the publishing house. The adaptation can be very challenging. But nonetheless, Crystal was down for it. She would make sure she set her timer. She would call, right in the nick of the moment when we said, hey, this has to do this. She'd be like, okay, I got it. I did it. Okay, it's done. And so definitely kudos to you for that. It's nothing. A teacher is only as great as the student, period. So I can teach till I'm blue in the face, but if I don't have amazing students, it's really doesn't even matter, truthfully. So, you were actually a joy to work with. And like listening to Pastor Jay, like when we actually conversed with Pastor Jason in regards to you, Pastor Jay was like, nope, she is teachable, she's coachable, she's trainable. And Pastor Jason and I, we talked about that for probably over a good 18, almost 2 years now, about people being teachable, coachable, and trainable, and the importance of that with any kind of projects that you're working on and execution. You can't execute well if you have a lot of people who are steering the boat in all these weird directions. You're trying to go straight and they're trying to go north, south, east, and you saying, no, the compass says west, period. We're not going north, south, east, we're going straight west, and people pulling against you. Crystal was all in. She was fully engaged in her own success. And that's important for anybody that's watching. If you are aspiring to be coached and you want somebody, Pastor Jason is a coach. If you're aspiring to be coached in your personal life, your professional life, and this is this food for thought, you have to be a part of your own success. It is not up to that coach to make sure you're successful. It's up to you to make sure you're successful. The coach is only going to give you the tools, but if you don't use the tools, it doesn't matter that you have them. I tell people all the time, knowledge is never power. It's the application of knowledge that produces the power. Power doesn't come without execution. You have to exert energy in order for manifestation to happen. That's the only way it's coming.
That's the truth.
Yeah, so it doesn't work any other way. And, Crystal, so this publication, I really believe it's going to be a great value adder to a lot of people. It's an easy read, guys. It's a smaller publication. It's one of the publications you can actually put inside your purse. You can actually put this thing in, you can put this in anywhere, a backpack, a book. It doesn't matter, because it's a thinner, but it's very meat filled. It's very, very meat filled. And it's some great solid content and information inside of this publication that will be of great value to you. Most definitely great value to you. So I want to ask you another question. When you talked about, you made a comment. I definitely want Pastor Jay to tap into this as well. Earlier when we had an event in Jacksonville back at the end of 2020, we had a huge event to commence in Jacksonville where several of our authors from a couple of other of our publications were coming together and connecting, and we had a huge event. And Pastor Jay actually took ill, like at the last second, he took ill and he wasn't able to come. And so the virus had affected them. Ironically, Crystal talked about in her publication about dealing with the virus. I wanted to kind of talk with you two about that. How has that played a part? I know with you being in Virginia, I've been to Virginia before. Virginia is a gorgeous city, but I know New York is still a hot spot, Pastor Jay, and I know it's still a lot of challenges there in New York. So we'll start with you about the virus. I know that particular moment impacted you greatly. We had you on the roster, we had you in the headline. Everybody was like, "Oh, Pastor Jay is coming in. Da 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 da. He coming in hot." It's like Pastor Jay is sick. He ain't coming.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere. He gonna be in New York.
Yeah.
So, I know that there may have been a couple of other times where something similar may have transpired. How has that been for you throughout the course of this pandemic and being able to execute the things that you need to execute?
I mean, the pandemic for me was a blessing because it gave me, I had no choice. When I caught COVID, I had to slow down. I couldn't, and it put me in a position where I got a lot of rest. And the pandemic, for me, I've made more money during this pandemic than I've ever made in my life, because to me, this pandemic was God's way of resetting the whole planet, because especially in the church, we were doing a lot of crazy things, a lot of twisted things. We were building monuments to ourselves instead of ministries unto God. So the whole thing just came and shut everybody down. It didn't matter how big your church was, how small your church was. We was all preaching to a laptop, to a phone. It put everybody on the same level. So for me, it was a time of clarity. It was a time of refreshing where God could download fresh ideas into me. And that's when businesses like the Banana Pudding and all the stuff that people see me doing now, it happened because I was laid out on my back. I couldn't do nothing. And all I had time was to listen to God and watch TV and sleep. And it was what I really needed, because when God healed me and I got back on my feet, I came out in beast mode and I haven't stopped yet. So, for me as a entrepreneur, it was great. For me as a pastor, it was an eye opener, because I realized that I have to make sure that I always continually point the people towards Calvary, not towards me. And that's the mistake that I see a lot of leaders make, because you talked about mentoring and coaching. There has to be a major trust factor there. If I'm going to come to you to coach me, I have to trust that you won't become intimidated by the greatness that you discover that's in me. And I have to be humble enough to receive your coaching and implement it. And you have to make sure that I understand your job is not to compete with me, but your job is to complete me. And that's going to come with some harsh lessons. It's going to come with some things that may challenge me. But if we're going to partner, the scriptures are so clear. How can two walk together unless they be agreed? That's just not for marriage. That's for partnership. That's for business. That's for anything that we're doing. You have to find somebody that's willing to tap into the power of agreement. And that's what I've learned, because the pandemic also taught me who I can live without.
Ooh, that's good. That's
And
good.
what I can live without.
That's good.
So I cut a lot of people off. I cut a lot of things out my life because they were no longer necessary. And I was proven by God that I could do it without people, as long as I had him. And he would in turn surround me with the right people that would become, partners without any hidden agendas, that would really sow into me and that I could sow back into, and we could grow together. So for me, the pandemic was great.
Wow. That's good. And so, Crystal, we're going to head over to you. I know you did an actual chapter in regards to the pandemic. Share with the community, without giving away your content, of course, share with the community what that actually was and how that has affected you, both personally and professionally.
So the coronavirus pandemic was an eye opener. I didn't have COVID at all myself, but when I noticed that June of 2020 that we were not going back to work as usual, church as usual, conferences as usual, business trips as usual, I was like, oh, I've got more time to get things done. And I was actually sick on the pandemic. I had a fibroid that had acted up, found out later, was bleeding for over 30 days from April 26th to the 1st of June. Then I could go and have a doctor's appointment. So I had to get iron. I had to build iron up. Couldn't be out in the sun. I didn't have enough blood in my body to have surgery. So all I could do, like Jason said, was be on my back, be at home, get some stuff done little by little. So I had a lot of time to think, and, process, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to be? Who am I going to be around? Who do I not need to be around? What do I need to get done for myself? So it was time to think. And mind you, I had gotten prayer for years, words for years, prophecies for years, encouraged through music for years. Then I started thinking, I'm like, oh, it's time to get this done. We prayed about this and wrote this down. Now it's time to implement. So all that was prep for this time, because we could not get anything done the way we were churching and working and traveling over the last couple of years. You would never have time to get all this stuff done on the pandemic. The pandemic gave you time to refresh, restart, regroup, rejuvenate, restore, anything with re in front of it. So that's what I did. And I was happy for it. And some of the transitions were not all that good. It was not exciting, but it was an eye opener for me. And especially in, doing this book. So, it was just that God-given time. And, got a lot of that grant money too, Jason, at the time for the business. So we did better, with grant money from the city, from the county, from Lowe's, from wherever, so we could get some of this stuff done. So I thank God for the time to actually get it done and serve him online since we weren't in the building. Mm-hmm. I was just happy for the time. Sad that people were losing their lives during the pandemic. Our whole world financial economy shifted. Mm-hmm. Business, commerce, whatever. Mm-hmm. Everything's changed, but God still takes care of his people. So I was happy to have this time to get it done. Even though I tried to practice my keyboard. And I was looking at these guys, Mike Burrell, Jason White, and all these DVDs I got, and I couldn't practice. I didn't have enough energy to retain those chords and the theories and the fingers. I can write my book. I can pray. I can still run around the living room and shout. So I had time to, get some stuff done. I got a big living room. So I didn't lose out on God. I was just giving him some more time. Put on a praise break,
You are hilarious. This woman is super funny.
I'm telling the truth. I don't just go to church and just do this or wherever I'm at, But anyway, I'm just saying the coronavirus pandemic was an eye opener for me, and it was time to get stuff done. And Jason was doing a series over the summer called It's Go Time. And so I was going during that time, which means whatever it is that you want to get done, you dreamed about, you thought about, you had time to do it. Nobody was in your way, no distractions. You were quarantined. You couldn't be around everybody. You couldn't go everywhere. You couldn't travel everywhere. You had no excuses. So it was time to just get stuff done.
I agree. There was definitely the elimination of excuses for a lot of people during this time, for sure. And for those that didn't take advantage of it, shame on you. That's all I can say is shame on you, because this was even in the face of opposition, we were still very fortunate, very blessed. We're still all here. We're still all connected. We're still alive. And we may have had some casualties of war, if you will, that have manifested. That doesn't take away our responsibility to do good, even in the face of opposition. There's not a time where we ever hear that we have an opportunity to do the opposite of good, even in the face of opposition. We're actually talking to Crystal Sauls this evening, newly published author. Her book, Transition, actually dropped today, Going from a Good Life to a Great One. It's just dropped today, and she is offering her ebook for 99 cents for over the next 24 hours. So head on over to Amazon, grab that publication. If you want an autographed copy, directly from Crystal, then you're going to go to dfgpublishingtoday.com and grab that publication. She will be autographing those and getting those out to you. The first of the year, you'll be receiving those publications just in time to get you set to launch into a great experience in 2022. So I'm excited to have her here. We also have Pastor Jason Hendrickson here. He's also a fellow coach as well, and he's also in the writing space. He's also done some publications with us here at DFG Publishing House, done some incredible work in the publications that he's done. And actually, Crystal came to us as a result of the partnership that we have with Pastor Jay. So we'd be remiss not to have him on with us tonight to talk about this exciting new author and all that she has to offer. If you joined us from the beginning of the segment, you found out a lot about Crystal. She loves dogs.
She loves
She
dogs.
loves to eat, so she made it very clear what her loves were when we first started. And we also found out about some more gifts and talents that she has as well in the space of the arts, singing, creating, writing, those type of things. And she also shared with us about some up and coming projects that she wants to actually do in the upcoming weeks, years, days, and months, which is absolutely exciting. And Pastor Jay, you guys have to be on the lookout for him in 2022. He is behind the 8 ball, but he will be releasing and dropping a publication of his own in 2022.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna get himself together because we already told him he ain't got, the coach has spoken. We're not gonna play with Pastor Jay. I'm like, Pastor, where's your book at? It's coming, coach. It's coming, coach. I'm like,
I had to finish the album, and I just
right. Congratulations on that. Let me say that first.
Yeah.
Let's snap clap for the album for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
And I just got the masters back tonight.
Oh my God, awesome.
So I was sitting
so
here.
You and Crystal both got new release stuff today. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the album is done. So now the next thing I'm focusing on is the book.
Awesome. So you know what? One thing that I do, again, I really enjoyed working with you, Crystal. You were really a great student. And I always say there's no great teacher without great students, because there's no proof that you did good if you don't have a student that shows up and says, hey, that was my teacher. So definitely excited about that, the opportunity to actually serve you in that capacity to make sure that you got your publication to life. We're about 7 minutes from the top of the hour. And usually when we do these particular interviews, we're here for exactly 1 hour. So Crystal, as we get ready to exit, what makes your book significant from others?
Let's see. What makes my book significant from others? I'm guessing that the content from a young Black woman that grew up in church. I would say the young Black woman that grew up in the Black church, because a lot of stuff that's in that book you would only get preached on. You wouldn't talk about. Mm-hmm. You would hear through the message, find yourself in the scriptures, or have some older person pulling you to the side and getting you straight. But I actually talk about it in the book, and I don't think that's something that I've seen a lot of people do. Even in some of the books that I've read, they're not going to be as honest about themselves to that degree. And I think that's what set the books out. And it's small. It's an easy read. So even most of the people that probably bought the book don't read a lot. So it's different because you don't have to start from the beginning. You can start anywhere. Each chapter is its own topic. It's not like, hey, you need to start from the beginning. No, each chapter got its own topic. So you start from somewhere and just pick up when you feel like picking up and read if you want to read, because it's short enough.
I want to shout out Pastor Brenda Jordan. She called me my brother. She called me Pastor Lawrence Hendrickson. That's my brother, Pastor Brenda. I'm Jason. Praise him.
I'm done. I'm so done right now. This has been the most interesting interview I've ever done in my whole entire interviewing ministry. In the 3 years where I've been interviewing folks, the two of y'all just set a precedent for new interviews.
See, we are setting the tone for the new year. Everybody that comes behind us has to come higher.
I'm scared. I'm just
And I've got one more thing to say about Jason.
Go ahead.
excited about Jason. Once again, I thank him all the time. I message him all the time. Thank you again, Jason, for the connection and all the fellowship all year long. We were at funerals together. We were at services together, so we all grew up in the same church organization. We were in Virginia, they're in New York. And so a lot of our family from New York, used to live, they all used to live near each other and fellowship together. So I was happy to reconnect with him during the pandemic, or connect at all, because it was somebody that grew up in the same organization that took a step to step out and get some stuff done for herself. Because a lot of times people in ministry, they think it's all just ministry. You have no entrepreneurship. You're not successful. You don't have multiple streams of income. You get those prayers and the prophecies in the word, Deuteronomy 28. The first few verses talk about, that prosperity. But like, when do you have time to implement it? And his message is always balance, entrepreneurship, ministry, family, life, whatever. And I like that about him. And I'm glad that, I knew them as young people. I'm sure he didn't know me, but I'm glad to know that that's what he transitioned into.
I didn't know you, Crystal.
You ain't know me.
I
went around y'all, New York people, y'all was just fly. So the people that went to New York, you won't fly back then.
She
No,
is
no,
hilarious.
I was sitting beside my mother at the conventions,
She is hilarious. You hear me? She is
with my big
hilarious.
Kobe stockings on. You be talking about in them stockings and them Bobos. You ain't know me. I wasn't cool enough for them to know.
God wants to free all you young ladies in 2022.
He wants to free her whole life.
He wants to free all of the sisterhood from French coffee stockings. No more.
Listen, no more. And don't use my name in vain. Please don't.
Let me tell you, there's a list of things God wants to free y'all from. French coffee stockings, those slippers with the fur on it, white shoes, flat shoes, all the above. Let God do the work in your life.
I'm done. On that note, it's time for these two. It's definitely time for them. The interview has stage left. I love it.
Lord.
Well, we have come to the top of the hour. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Hot Seat this week. We're excited that we have brand new author Crystal Sauls in the building, along with one of her coaches, Pastor Jason Hendrickson, who actually came on with us to actually be a part of her interview on tonight. So he was actually our guest for this evening. And so we're super excited to have had both of them on with us. Remember, if you want to get an autographed copy of the publication, head over to dfgpublishingtoday.com and you'll be able to grab an autographed copy from Crystal. She is still autographing copies of the publication. So head on over there and grab your copy. The books will actually come out at the top of the year, and that is a great way to launch into 2022. Also, if you're not following her, go ahead and do that now. Get connected to her on all social media platforms. You're, of course, seeing me here, so you're able to follow me on all social media platforms. We're actually live in YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Clubhouse, as well as Facebook. So we're on several platforms streaming simultaneously. So you can definitely connect with us on those various platforms, all the same thing. If you want more information on how you can start your journey and become a part of the DFG Publishing House family, you can definitely connect with us and find out more at coffee10k.com to be able to connect with us and get your position for 2022. Slots are filling up really, really fast, and we definitely want to give you an opportunity to go through the process to see if we are a great fit for each other. All right. So again, thank you guys so much for being here on tonight. Congratulations to you again, Crystal, on your brand new project. And congratulations to you, Pastor Jason, on your master today for your brand new album. So guys, stay tuned for the things that are coming up for both Crystal and Pastor Jason. She said, Pastor Jason, I realized that. Lord have mercy. Y'all have me cracking up, okay? Cracking up.
I have a request.
Yes.
I'd like to know if I can be a part of the large, big, great concerts that Pastor Jason is having in 2022. I'd like to be a part in some form. Is that okay? Are you going to pray about that, Pastor Jason?
It's nothing to pray about. It's already done. But I do want to say this. Everybody that's going to get the ebook, do me a favor. I'm going to buy 25 of them right now. I want you guys to download the ebook and go get a hard copy as well. Let's do that for Crystal, guys. Let's sow into her. She's a young Black woman, gifted and talented and saved. So let's sow into her. I'm going to do that right now. I'm gonna buy 25 ebooks and sow them into somebody. And I already pre-ordered my book. So let's make this book number one. Because that's what we do at DSD. That's what we do.
That's what we do. We actually have till midnight to make sure that that manifests. So definitely go head over and connect and grab your copy of that publication. And $25 for 25 books. You can actually repurpose those for events and things like that where you want to add value to people. We do it each and every week. We give out ebooks that we've purchased from other authors and thought leaders every single week. We do that. This week, we're not doing it because we're doing Crystal's release, but we are offering the ebook for 99 cents. It's offered for 99 cents. So definitely go ahead and tap in, grab that publication. All right, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Again, thank you guys so much for being here on tonight. I am your hostess with the mostest, P. Coffee Brown, here in the great state of Texas, by way of Houston. We're signing off for now, and we will see you all next week, God willing, for another edition of the Hot Seat. And so grace, peace, and blessings again, Crystal. Congratulations to both you and Pastor Jay, and we will truly see you all in the future. Good night for now, and we will see you all soon.
Good night.